You're the next Avenger.
We're starting now with the flamethrower testing. We've opened it up and we're going to use the striker to get this going.
So right now he is slowly opening up the gas line on the flamethrower end. He's going to use the striker to safely light the end. And then just turn it down just a wee bit. Yep. And then when he presses the trigger, it's going to go together. So that will in turn be able to burn. We really only need to just graze over these plants pretty quickly. You don't need to hold it on there and really burn it. Grant, you want to go ahead and demonstrate? So, and that's exactly what you would want. Is it's starting to look, you know, pretty toasted, but it's not completely burnt. It's not singed. It's not black. And then you're not putting out a ton of flame, so it's not a huge risk of catching fire. We're using it on a moist, cool day with high humidity and wet leaves, not dry leaves. If this were to flame up at all, I would just go ahead and stomp that out and we're good to go. So Grant, you can go ahead and proceed. We're going to be going after lesser celandine, garlic mustard, seedlings and florets, Japanese honeysuckle, English ivy, and I think that's about it in this plot. So Grant, you can go ahead and get started.
Again, these are 10 by 10 plots, and this is a test for alternatives to herbicide use here in Arlington County by IPC Invasive Plant Control. So Grant, go to it. So we will come back and test the efficiency, the efficacy of how good it is at controlling these multiple different invasive species. There are obviously some disadvantages about how much fuel and all that, but again, this is a test plot for some alternatives to the normal herbicide treatment that we would give to these particular places. Fire spots, but we stamped them out very quickly. And we'll come back and see how effective this control will be. So again, flamethrower, flame testing as an alternative control for invasives.
Good stuff. Great, so then we can go up to the other test plot. I'm going to just stomp this out really quick and we can start trying to on the horizon and just to see what it does. Alright, so this is going to be our second test plot. So just starting off with some of the species that we're going to be doing in this plot. We have a little bit of Italian arum, we have some Liriope, we have some more garlic mustard, Japanese honeysuckle, English ivy. Did I already say that? I'm not sure. So we're not really sure how well the flame will work on the Liriope or the Italian arum or even the English ivy, but it's definitely worth the experiment. So some safety concerns to be mindful of whenever we're using a piece of machinery like this. Not only are you walking around with a backpack of propane, it's enough to use caution. You want to use your PPEs, have your gloves on, make sure that you check your hose for leaks before you light it. And then also while you're burning, you need to think about what could you be possibly burning, what could those fumes end up doing to you as the user or to someone nearby. Things like poison ivy, if that were to be burned, that would be very troublesome for whoever is breathing that in. Very, very concerning. Then there's also the thought of, well, what if there is some sort of styrofoam or plastic bottle or some sort of trash underneath these leaves? While we're burning it, we can't see that, and we need to think about what are those possible fumes that could be being expelled from that. So Grant is going to proceed with caution. He will start at the corner by the Liriope and the arum. And right now we don't see any safety hazards, so he's going to proceed. If he sees anything that would cause a problem, he will stop and we will rectify the situation. Grant, you can go ahead.
One thought is, we know it burns the top vegetation, but will it, for example, go down and destroy the roots of things like celandine and Italian arum, which are difficult to control? That is something that we're trying to experiment, and we'll look at how effective it is later on. Again, 10 by 10 foot plots. Surprised there's not as much smoke as you'd think, and it's not as hot, at least from my perspective, as you'd think either. Again, this is like target spraying. You obviously are looking for which things you can burn and not. So there you go.
Shrubs while using this, you should stand from behind and have the heat come out and under, so it's not just going straight up into the branches.
Important lessons to be learned.
Yeah.
I also noticed there's not a lot of smells coming through, which I guess is a good thing.
Okay, I think that's pretty good. So safety aspects as well. After you're done using the flamethrower, it's best to stay on site for at least 30 minutes. You want to make sure that all the smoldering has stopped. The other area, luckily, was pretty wet. The smoldering stopped very quickly. This area is also very moist. So as you can see, it's almost completely done smoldering. Yep, that's it now. So we shouldn't have any other hot spots. If we were working in a larger area, we'd want to re-walk that area looking for any hot spots, just for any safety concerns. Obviously, we couldn't use this on a very windy day, a very dry day. The conditions definitely have to be correct. If it was a particularly dry day, we could do things to make the treatment more safe, as in using, backpack sprays of water, shovels, flappers to knock down any of the smoldering flame.
Again, a good test of a new method. Well, not so new, but just testing it out on multiple species, and we will look to see how efficient this is and burning not just the leaves but also the roots and so forth. Okay. That will be plan 2.
What we're going to do with the flamethrower is this 5x5 plot of almost a monoculture of just garlic mustard little seedlings. So we're going to go ahead and see how this nukes that and whatever it can do to that seed bank that's underlying. One note is that we are trying to figure out how long one propane tank lasts. Grant, if you want to show you the back side of the pack really quickly. So it's pretty small, it's convenient. I believe it's 18 pounds propane.
Yes.
That's an 18-pound tank of propane, and we will see how long it will last us.
All right.
So Grant, you can go ahead.
Grant has now been making the red dragon. There you go. Again, we'll see also, how you can use this and in what places you can and cannot use it. Having to do with, this is a monoculture, so nothing can be done. Even if you make a mistake, you can get all of it. But again, this is all good stuff to know, and we'll find out a little bit more about how effective it is, how long these things last, what kinds of costs this would do, and how good it is on different species. So again, this is a test plot, again with IPC, invasive plant control, and we will see now just how how it goes next time. So until the next test, we will see.